Hello everyone! Today I wanted to share the Namazuo and Honebami Toshiro figures produced by FuRyu. Now the reason I wanted to share these is because I'm not too familiar with the FuRyu prize figure line. I think the only other FuRyu prize figure I have is actually Ruby Rose, who was a lot smaller than I thought she would be when I got her. All these three are classified under the special figure line from FuRyu. And I wanted to see what other ones in these lines look like and if they were all around this, size and scale. Because what I'm familiar with is the Sega price figure, the PM price figure scale, which is, for example, Aqua. And you can really see the size difference between these two characters. And of course, they are different ages. Ruby is just a high school student, but and she's younger than she should be to enroll in her school, but you can also tell how different the thickness of their legs and their arm is, so they are different scales. And I wanted to see if these boys would be this kind of scale as well, because they're all under this special figure line of FuRyu. And let's go ahead and take a look at Namazuo first. Namazuo comes packaged in the standard, cardboard box inside of the prize figure box, and he is in bubble wrap, which is separated by compartments. There was some plastic separating his hair from his clothes to prevent paint transfer, but there wasn't any sort of cardboard or anything in the back of the sword so it doesn't get warped, which is something that Sega did with Aqua's fans and hands. The base is just pretty standard, just a black circle base, which is, fine. This is a prize figure. I'm not expecting anything too extravagant. It would have been nice to see the crest for the sword on it though, but in any case, it goes in very easily in the figure. You don't have to struggle or pull the legs apart to put the base inside, which is something you have to do with some, lower end figures. It took me a little while to realize that I was being kind of dumb in trying to stick his sword in his hand, when obviously he's just reaching for it and there is a peg on his belt where you put the sword inside of. It's very easy to peg the sword in, and it was very easy to put the figure in his base. And it is, so it'll be easy to take out and put in, but he stays in pretty sturdily. This figure is very nicely sculpted. I think FuRyu did a very wonderful job on him. There are some paint defects here and there are some areas where the sculpt could have been much smoother, but it is a prize figure that at the time of this recording you can get for 1,500 yen. So, you can expect those kind of manufacturer defects in a figure of this price range. You can see a speck of red there where it probably shouldn't be. Maybe it'll be hard to get this in hand. But it kind of looks not too polished right there where the armor piece is to his cuff. They did use gold paint though for details, which I think is very nice. You can see that on the cuff lines, on the buttons, and on the sword. I don't know how well I'll get this. I might put a picture of it, but the hair is kind of has some texture where it shouldn't have texture. And there are some seam lines. They're pretty, well, they're not too noticeable, but they're there on the head sculpt. Also on the ends of the hair, you can kind of see more of that weird texture. His face is absolutely the cutest thing ever. If I can get it to focus, maybe you'll see. The hands look very nicely sculpted, and they're very like dainty and cute, and they even have some nail polish on them, which is painted nicely. They're like little pink nail polish right there, the nails. It has shininess where it should on the shoes and on the armor pieces, but the outfit itself is matte, which is, you know, what you can expect with this kind of outfit. So they did really good design choices on the types of paint that they used. And I'm gonna go ahead and pull out his brother Honebami, and we can take a look at him as well. He was actually released before Namazuo was. This isn't very important, but the way that these were packaged is a little different. Obviously the sizes of the box were different, but here his base is taped into the box, and he just comes in this plastic wrap with a cardboard on the back instead of like the little cardboard case that was inside of Namazuo's box. When you pull him out of the bubble wrap, Honebami is already fully put together with his sword in place, and you just need to take him out of his little plastic wrap and stick him on the base. Like his brother, Honebami came wrapped with a sheet of plastic around his body just to prevent paint transfer from the hands and the sword. The sculpt work on Honebami is very nice, and he went into his base very easily. You didn't have to pry his legs apart to get him in. He also just went in very smoothly, and it's a little bit more secure than Namazuo's base was. His face is very lovely, although he does have a bit of, I'm not sure if you'll see it on the camera, but he has a bit of black on his chin, which I can easily take off with a magic eraser. I did so with Aqua, and she had some on her nose. There's a seam line on the top of his head, which is very common even in scale figures with this type of hairdo, and it might just, be accounted for the hairdo. There's a bit of a paint problem right there on that strand of hair, but it's not at all a big deal, and it's on the back of the head. There's also a little seam line right there on the bob. He has metallic paint on the details like the button and the sword and the cuffs. And the buttons though aren't painted as nicely as Namazuo's were. You can see a bit of paint where it shouldn't be right there. And because his is a little more complex with not just one solid color but purple and white, there's a bit of bleeding, here on this little ribbon. And, it's not perfectly painted here either, but again, this is a $15 figure, so you can't expect those kind of issues with it. Decisions were also made very nicely with the kinds of paints that should be used. Shiny shoes, shiny sheath, matte color for the clothing, and the hair is kind of like a little bit pearlized for him, which is really cool. I really wish that FuRyu had or will continue this special figure line for the Touken Ranbu boys instead of moving on to the cup noodle ones they're doing. The cup noodle ones are nice as well, but I'd prefer, figures like this. And let's put the Toshiro brothers together so we can take a look at them. .360 spin, here we come. FuRyu did a very nice job with these figures, and I feel like they are a larger scale than Ruby Rose was. Let's put her together just so you have a comparison. Which is strange because they're all from the same special figure line. You can really see the difference. And her base is even, well, the bases are almost the same height. Hers is just a little bit taller. But she is much smaller than the boys in comparison. I don't have any Touken Ranbu scale figures because I've resisted thus far. Hopefully now that I have these I won't cave, though I'm getting weak, guys. Please send help. But I'll go ahead and compare him with another altar scale that I have. And I think he looks very good next to Misaki. Like the scale of these two figures is very, very similar. You know, regarding the thickness to their arms and their torsos, and they're basically the same height, although Misaki is taller. You know, he just looks shorter because his base is shorter, but he is taller if you put them on the same kind of like range. But they work very, very well together. Overall, I'm very happy with the quality of FuRyu. I think they did a very good job with these two boys, and I'm kind of tempted to get some of the noodle figures if that's all that we're getting for all the other characters, because it's a very good alternative to scales, especially if you're not too into Touken Ranbu and you just want to collect these cute little sword boys. Anyway, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Goodbye!